Good morning. Hello, everyone. Just wait a few seconds for people to come online. Firstly, I'm really sorry, I haven't done one of these lives for a really long time now, so that's really bad of me, but I'm back and we're going to be doing them every Friday at the same time, and we're going to be going through some key things in relation to HR, as per usual. So just for those of you that don't know us, don't know what we do, my name's Emily Perry and I'm the MD of South Coast Human Resources. We are an HR consultancy. We're based in Arundel, but we work with clients all across West Sussex, Surrey, Hampshire, into London, and we support with all things outsourced HR. So if you don't have your own internal HR support, we can come in and provide you with that service. So that's what we do. So in today's live, we are going to talk about structure and why it's really important that as a small business, you don't forget about having some structure around your HR. Typically, when we go into a new business, so most of our customers are relatively small. They range from having sort of 2 or 3 employees right up to sort of the bigger organisations with 100+ employees. So we kind of cover the range of different company sizes. But quite often when we go into a small business, there will be no structure in relation to most things. And that's just the way it goes in a small business. You know, I've been involved in many different small businesses, and they're all very similar in that when they start up, they're quite casual in their approach. And then as the business starts to grow, things will start to slip through the net a little bit. And that's when it's really important to start thinking about some structure, putting into place some processes, and it's no different for the people side of the business. So typically what we might start to see happening that would be a good indicator of needing some structure in the business is if people don't know what to do around particular subjects. So if someone has a baby, for example, they don't know what the process is around maternity leave. A manager might not know how to deal with underperforming in a staff member. People might start to complain that they don't feel that they're paid enough, or that it's not fair that their colleague gets paid more than them. Staff might feel that they're not able, or they don't have the skills to manage their teams. So this is typically some of the things you might start to see when structure is probably going to be a good idea. So what does that look like then in terms of HR and structuring HR within a small business? Now, obviously, it's not going to be like having a massive HR team and you've got an HR person for each individual section of the business. That's not necessary, and it's not going to be required for your small business. However, there are a few key things to look at around getting some structure in place that are really going to help you. So first things first, if you don't have contracts of employment for your staff, you need to get them. There's a legal requirement that within 8 weeks of somebody starting work for you, they need to be given a contract or statement of terms and conditions. So if you don't have that, that is top of your list. The next thing to think about is having an employee handbook in place. So think of this as your company Bible, if you will, and essentially what this contains in it is all of your required statutory processes, so processes and policies around disciplinary, grievance, whistleblowing, maternity, paternity, all of that sort of thing will be in there, along with some additional company policies that you might want to put in there as well. Don't forget as well about our lovely friend, the GDPR, and making sure that you have got in place your employee data protection policies, your employee privacy notices, and your candidate privacy notices as well. So it's really important that you get those in place. The next thing you might want to start thinking about having is job descriptions. So again, don't let you be concerned about this being a big corporate exercise. It's not. Job descriptions let people know what is expected from them. And I guarantee you that The people in your teams want to know where they stand. They want to know what is required from them. And with the job descriptions, they're not going to be a very rigid document where people can then pull them out and go, that's not in my job description. But it's just an important document that you can discuss with your team, and it can be an evolving thing as things change within your business, but your team members will know what is expected from them, which is really important. The next thing you might want to start thinking about is some appraisals or performance management. And again, we're not talking about, complicated corporate appraisal schemes. What we're looking at is an agreed time for you to sit down with your team members to discuss performance, to discuss issues that might be going on. There's a lot of talk in the HR world about doing away with appraisals completely, and I don't agree with that, because in most small businesses, if you take the approach of just casual chats here and there, I guarantee you they won't happen, because you'll be so busy and you won't have time to dedicate to that. Whereas if you know and your employees know that once a year or twice a year, they're going to sit down in a more formal environment to discuss their role, to discuss their performance, it's much more likely going to happen. And then if you have in place Breathe HR, which is our wonderful employee HR system that we can offer, you can then track achievement against objectives in regular one-to-ones with your team, and it just then becomes much more of a living process rather than a really boring, dull appraisal system that nobody wants to engage in. So definitely recommend that. It will also help you deal with poor performers and also help you motivate your high achievers as well. So definitely recommend that. The next thing you might want to think about is training, and training plans are super important if you want to keep your team motivated. If you've got managers in your business, it's a really good idea to get them trained. So you might want to look at some key HR awareness training to make sure that they know what their legal risks are. You might want to look at some soft skill training around things like holding one-to-ones or performance management, but training is key and don't underestimate it. The next thing you might want to look about is pay and benefits as well. So again, having a really simple pay structure in place is going to help you. It will help people know where they stand. It will make sure that you are not paying people unfavorably, or there's any gender bias going on. You can just make sure that everything is clear, it's all in line with market rates, and that people know how they're going to progress and what that looks like in terms of monetary value. Then benefits wise as well, you don't need, again, a huge complicated corporate scheme that's going to cost you thousands of pounds. There's lots of really small little benefits that you might want to look at. So things like extra holiday with increasing service. You might want to give birthdays off as holiday, fruit in the office, teas, coffees. Lots of little things can make a real big difference. There's loads of online platforms around as well, things like Perkbox, which offer really cost-effective ways of offering small businesses benefits. So yeah, it's really important to think about that, because one of the key problems that small businesses can have is attracting quality staff members. So if you can't pay the big salaries that the corporates pay, think about what benefits you can offer that might entice people to your company. One of the key things that people look for these days is flexibility. So if you're able to offer flexibility around your work and the working environment, then that is a huge draw for a lot of people. So hopefully that will help you. So just to recap, things you might want to look at for structure in your business. Number one, contracts of employment. I will never tire of banging that drum. Get your contracts in place. It's a legal requirement, and you also need to have them in place so everyone knows where they stand. Employee handbook. Similarly, you want your statutory policies in place, and also make sure that everyone knows how you will handle situations should they arise. Job descriptions, so people know what is expected from them. Appraisals or performance reviews, so you can manage performance within your business. Look at getting Breathe HR if you don't already have it in place. It's a fab online HR database. It allows employees to self-serve their holidays, to record sickness, and it also helps with your GDPR compliance as well. Look at training. look at pay and benefits, and also don't forget GDPR. I know we've gone past the deadline and you're probably bored to tears hearing about GDPR, but on the HR side of things, you really do need to do some work around that. What that looks like is updating your contracts, employee privacy notices, candidate privacy notices, and an employee data protection policy. So hopefully that's helpful, and it's going to help you get some structure in place within your business. If you'd like some help with that, then myself and the team here at South Coast would be more than happy to help you. So do drop us a line or get in touch. And we will see you same time next week. So I hope you have a fabulous weekend and a great week next week. And we will see you next week. Bye.